I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. Okay, good. Give me just
Okay, I can't see you on your screen.
Okay, give me a moment. Okay, give me just a minute here. Here we go. Where is the... Okay, you can see me now?
I can see you now.
Fantastic. Okay, great. Okay, so as we were saying, with regards to the patch that you're talking about is the SP6 patch. So let me pull that aside here so I can share that with you guys. So we have, of course, the Fantastic Five is the 39. We have the 49. We have glutathione, carnosine, eon, taking care of the primary systems of the body. And then we have SP6. SP6 has to do with digestion. So there's a lot of focus in the group, it seems like, because I think so many people do have weight issues. They usually focus on this one being, they call it the weight loss patch, but it's not really the weight loss patch. It does regulate your digestive system. So if you have appetite and cravings, it'll suppress appetite and cravings because it's going to bring your digestive system back into order and into balance. So anything that's damaged there that needs to be repaired, it's going to be repaired with this patch. This patch is also going to regulate your autonomic nervous system. So anything related to nerves and your autonomic nervous system, this is a very important patch for that particular reason. And this one also helps your hypothalamus. So people who have had short-term memory loss, like in my case, I was hit by a bus in 2017 and I lost all of my short-term memory. Not only did I get all my short-term memory back, my short-term memory is better than it ever was my entire life. And so this patch helps with anything neurological, building of nerves. Okay. So your friend who wants to do weight loss, if she were to get on at the bare minimum, 39 eon, I would do 39, 49 eon and this patch. I don't know if she started yet, but she could do a silver pack where she would get X39, 49 eon, and then this patch, and then she's going to get started. I've had people on just the Fantastic Five without this patch. I mean, I had one gal, Barbara Hummel. She started in the spring, and the first week she was on the Fantastic Five, she lost 7 pounds. And at the end of 30 days, she lost 17 pounds just with the Fantastic Five. And I don't think she's ever used the SP6 patch. She's just stuck pretty fervently to the Fantastic Five. She got a lot of benefit in terms of, in the first 24 hours, she'd had a back injury that kept her from going to work, branch manager at a bank. And in the first 24 hours, her pain was gone. And then that week, she not only did she have increased energy, slept fantastic, but by the 7th day, she had lost 7 pounds and she had so much energy that even though she, works full time at a bank and she's taking care of her elderly parents who are in their 90s, she had enough energy to go on a 2-hour hike and wash her car, which she called me on Monday and I couldn't believe it when she called me and she said that she went on a 2-hour hike and she also had enough energy to also wash her car. I'm going, oh my gosh, Barbara, that's incredible. And she just turned 59. So that's on the 5. So there is a recommendation and a patch placement for this particular patch. And I'm going to show you in the book. I'm going to share it with you guys. This book is about 10 years old. And it's called the Self-Healing with Light book. And I know that I have in my
In the little brochure is the spot that it recommends, the spot that you suggest.
yeah, you can, here's like the tummy protocol. I actually wrote it in the back here because it's not, yeah, tummy reduction is on page 129. So I have a list. So you're going to see here the tummy reduction protocol. It has here listed 39, 49, energy enhancer, 2 of them. Eon, because when you wear energy enhancer, you burn like 300 extra calories a day from wearing
Wow.
energy enhancer. So that's kind of a big deal for a lot of people. And then not to mention it increases your energy, but it also moves the energy faster in your body. So whatever cellular repair you're having, it happens faster. So
Okay.
Eon, glutathione, and then the SP6. So it's basically the Fantastic Five with the EE energy enhancer and SP6. Page 129. Let me see if I can show you a diagram of that. I know I have an image on my computer.
And how do we get that book?
This book, you get it through Sally Fung. If you look up in the Evolve Team Telegram group, just type in Sally Fung. Healing
Can you
Light.
spell that?
Sally, SALLY, and Fung is PHUNG. And it shows you here. This is the page. You can take a screenshot of this here.
Okay.
Let me see. I want to make sure you get the whole thing to doodle.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, yep. Okay. So quick question. Go the other way. My mother is, speaking of taking elderly parents, mine are not 80, 90 yet. They're in their 80s. And my mom, for some reason, about a year and a half ago, just drastically lost a bunch of weight and hasn't regained it. I have her on the regular, the 5. Okay, the regular Fab 5.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to make her lose more weight? Because she's already under 100 pounds.
No, she won't lose. She won't lose. Thank goodness it doesn't make you, because I could have not. When I started, I could not. I was underweight, 10 pounds, and I needed to gain weight. So it helped me put back.
Okay.
It's not just weight, it's muscle mass. So because the patches increase lean muscle mass and strength, you start to put a little bit more weight on lean muscle mass and weight. Again, depending on if you're underweight or if you're overweight.
It balances out.
It's going to balance your body out. If your fat to muscle mass composition is out of whack, it's going to bring it into balance. So mine was out of whack in a deficiency where I was way too thin. And it doesn't feel good to be under 100 pounds. I'm only 5'1". So for me, my whole life, I've been pretty much 103, 102, 104, 105 pounds, depending on the time of year, depending on if I'm on vacation or not, or, because it's not a fixed number, but usually about 103 is my normal weight. For me to get down to 92, 93, I look awful. I was like gaunt, 2 sizes, smaller in clothes. My clothes are dancing on me, and you don't look or feel good. It's terrible. It's the same problem in reverse to having too much weight. When you have too much weight, you don't feel good. Your hips bother you, your joints, because you're carrying additional weight, right? So it's the same problem in reverse. People that are overweight have more empathy for others who are overweight than the ones who are underweight. But it's a serious problem to be underweight too, because it shows a disbalance in the body. So the patches will bring you into balance. So your mother, like I had one gal, Carol Moulton, who just started on Tuesday, August 8th was her first day starting on the patches. She was from 110 pounds. She had dropped to like 93 or 94 pounds. So she too was with that same issue. She had a heart condition. She had, myocarditis. She had, what she calls broken heart syndrome, which cardiologists also call it broken heart syndrome. She had AFib, and she also had shingles, and she was struggling with this for 18 months. when she started on the patches. And then within just a few months, not only did all of her symptoms go away, her AFib went away in the first 3 weeks, confirmed by her cardiologist and her general practitioner. Since then, she's been back to her cardiologist 3 times. The last time, because she was supposed to have an atrial fibrillator installed in her chest to regulate her heartbeat that was over 150 beats per minute. But after 2 weeks of being almost 3 on the patches, her pulse went down to the 70s, and it's been there ever since. And her pulse ox also went up. So
awesome.
Long story short, she also gained her weight back, and she also gained her energy back. And she's 82. Let's see, her sister's 86. She's 82 years old, because her sister and her Annie started at the same time. And so interestingly enough, sisters, Annie is 86 and Carol is 82. Carol was underweight because of her circumstances, and Annie was a little overweight. So Annie's been losing weight while Carol was gaining weight. Now Carol's like, she got back up to her normal weight of 110. So she's just close to 110. But the one that needed to lose weight is losing weight, and the one that needed to gain weight is gaining weight. Same patches.
Okay.
Okay. So this is like smart cell technology, because it's turning on your original cells from when you were conceived in your mother's womb prior to birth. It's turning a third of those back on. So all that original information is there to go, oh, this is how your body's supposed to be. We've only had, if you can think about it, if you were to do a remodeling job in your house, you have contractor A comes in, he has 10 workers. You're over 60 years old. So I'm just using 60 because 10 is an easy number to add and subtract and multiply with. So contractor A comes in, he's got 10 workers. He's like looking at your house and you're saying, I want a full remodel. Ceilings, floors, walls. I want new plumbing. I want a new kitchen. I want new fixtures. I want a new bathroom. I want all the stucco and siding on the outside of my house. I want a new roof. I want a whole brand new house. Take it down to the studs. Contractor A goes, okay, to do a job of that size, basically building a whole new house, it's going to take me 7 years. You're like, no problem. Contractor B, the better contractor, comes in and you tell him the exact same thing. And he looks around and he goes, okay, you know what? It'll take me 12 months. I have 43 guys on my crew. So with my 43 guys, we'll be able to get this done in 12 months. Now he can do it in 12 months because he has 4.3 times more guys than contractor A. Contractor A only has 10 guys that are going to do that job. So it's going to take them longer. But the second guy, contractor B, once you put the patches on your body, you have 33% additional. So someone who's 60 and only has 10% of their original pluripotent cells left, their stem cells, 10 plus 33% is 43. You almost have 50% of your original blueprint working in your favor, like a 35-year-old. So now that's why this rapid repair starts taking place head to toe, top to bottom, front, inward, inside and outside of your body. Contractor B, obviously you with stem cell activation, you've got this rapid repair going on exponentially. And for every 6 weeks that you're on the patches, your cardiovascular system becomes 2 months younger. So over the course of 12 months, you have a cardiovascular system that is now 16 to 20 years younger just from wearing these patches. So that's going to help a lot of things in your body, because the patches are very comprehensive and systemic, where they're taking care of regenerating systems of the body at a cellular level. Does that make sense?
It does. And so pluripotent, is that a term we can use versus we're not supposed to stem cells? I picked up.
So we can educate people on stem cells, but we can't say that they're stem cell activation patches anymore because of that new change that the FDA has now, which we'll share here at the beginning of the broadcast. I'll show that disclaimer. I'll show our disclaimer and I'll show what that new ruling is so that people are clear. And I'll tell people very clearly, we used to be able to say this, we can't say this any longer. So now instead of stem cell activation patches, we can say pluripotent cell activation patches, or just call them cell activation patches, because that's literally what they're doing. They're activating cells. So they're cell activation patches, or you could also call them phototherapy or photobiomodulation patches. Yeah.
Been using phototherapy.
Yeah, phototherapy patches is perfectly fine to say. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you finding with most of your, I think I'm the only one on, if is there somebody else I can share right
There's
now?
Edgar
Yeah.
Thomas is also on. So yeah, go ahead though.
Oh, I just lost my train of thought.
It'll pop right back in.
Oh, so are you finding that for most people that it is taking the 1 month for every decade of your life? Or is the majority of the people seeing some results and things faster than that?
So what those numbers are referring to is like the minimum amount of time. Like if you're 70 years old, then you're going to want to wear these patches for a minimum of 7 months, because it's one month for every decade of life you're alive. I look at it, I'm a holistic care practitioner. My specialty is the brain, repatterning the brain to release physical and emotional trauma. So based on what I know about biology and physiology, our body is on a 7-year schedule to replace all 56 trillion cells of the body. So any cell in your body is, the youngest one is like milliseconds old. The oldest one is 7 years old. So there isn't a single cell in your body right now that was here 8 to 10 years ago. All those cells have turned over the last 7 years to where you are right here, right now. So because it's a 7-year cycle, I tell people, listen, I recommend that you be on the patches for at least 12 months, because in a 12-month period, it gives the body at least enough time to turn over 56 trillion cells in the body. We've had too many people. I mean, I can give so many examples. We have, for example, Dr. John Harmon. He got on the patches 2 years ago. He had a right bundle branch blockage. And he's a brain specialist, originally started off as a chiropractor, specializes in QEEG and different brain conditions. And he was suffering from a right bundle branch blockage. Had he only stayed on the patches, because I think he's like 68 or 69 years old, if he had only stayed on the patches for 7 months, he would still have a right bundle branch blockage. But guess what? He stayed on the patches. He understands, as a doctor, he understands the regenerative, the mechanics inside the body and how the cells turn over. And so he knew that it would take time. And so at the 14th month of him wearing the patches, that's when 3 cardiologists were able to confirm that had diagnosed him and that he was under their care. They were able to confirm that the right bundle branch blockage disappeared, but that was at the 14th month. So had he stopped at the 7th month, he didn't know that it was going to take 14 months, but that's only 50% of the way. Now we know, because now that right bundle branch blockage disappeared at the 14th month. The truth was that from the moment he put the patches on, that rapid repair was going on every day that he's worn the patches, and he continues to wear the patches. Okay. So that is a minimum time frame required, but I really think that it's to give people a greater amount of justice and a fair shot at really seeing the results in their body. Really, you really need to give yourself a year's time, 12 months. I mean, even a young person who goes to work out and goes from being regular and decides, I want to become a bodybuilder, 25, 30, 35 years old, they're not going to become a full-blown bodybuilder in 6 months. It's going to take about a year of work, of proper diet, nutrition, exercise, sunshine, fresh air, for them to build up their body to that kind of level. And they got 50% of their stem cells working in their favor. So based on what I know about biophysiology and neurochemistry, it makes sense. I always recommend to everyone, and on every one of these broadcasts, I tell people, if you're going to try this for 30 days, then don't even bother, because 30 days is not enough time. Even a bad habit takes 90 days to create. So really invest in yourself over the next 12 months. This can only help you. It can't hurt you, because it's regenerating any damaged cells that you have inside of your body. Based on your original blueprint, you get a legitimate do-over, and you get to replace every single one of those damaged cells with a brand new, nice, crisp, optimized cell. And so 12 months gives your body enough time to replace the majority, not all, but the majority of the 56 trillion cells that you have in your body. We talked about John Harmon. There's also Bob Campbell. Bob Campbell, he was on the patches. He's been on them now for 4 years, but when he started in he was 72 years old when he started on the patches. And for the first 7 months, he had no pain relief. He had increased energy and way better energy, and he had much better sleep. But at 7 months, he was still suffering from plantar fasciitis pain, prostate pain from prostate cancer, and also he had really severe skin cancer. And he was still in pain at 7 months. Had he quit, he might not be alive. I don't think he would be alive at this point if he had quit, but he stuck with it. It wasn't until the 23rd month that everything was resolved. The most difficult thing in his body to repair was his skin cancer because it was so severe. And at the 23rd month, he was in the shower. All the scabs literally fell off.
Oh, bless his heart.
All of the scabs fell off. And he said, he couldn't believe it because they started falling off. And when he looked in the mirror, he did not have one single scar, despite the fact that twice before, all of the scars, all of the lesions that he had from cancer, they were literally burned off by his oncologist.
Yeah.
He did not have a single scar.
Okay,
He has very fair skin. He's originally a redhead. He's got white hair now. Originally, he was a redhead. And my goodness, it took, if he stopped at a year, or had he stopped at 7 months, he would have been nowhere close. He would have never experienced pain relief. But he did experience pain relief, but it took over a year for him. But he had he had 2 forms of cancer, prostate and skin cancer, both of them in the advanced levels. And on top of that, plantar fasciitis that he had suffered with since 1973. So, so that's my answer with regards to the thing about recommending. That's a minimum, but I think a minimum really should, in my opinion, and that's why I always recommend a minimum of 12 months. And then you stop when you no longer want that regenerative process to take place in your body. You're at any time before the 12-month mark. If you want to stop, you can stop at any time. If you're on the doctor wholesale side, that we get people started. If people got started on the retail side, then they're locked into a 6-month agreement because that's part of the terms and conditions. When you start is that you have to have a 6-month auto ship. So,
did not read that little thing. Thank you for bringing that up.
yeah, that's on the retail side. And on the doctor wholesale side, when we start people up on a doctor wholesale pack, not only do they save quite a bit, but the other thing is you have the most flexibility. You don't have a minimum requirement. You don't have to be on subscription. You don't have to order, if you're getting a doctor wholesale pack and you're going to be a brand partner, or you're going to be a rep, or you're a holistic care practitioner, that you're going to be recommending this to your clients and to your patients. In order to get compensated, then of course you have to have a minimum monthly, which is basically just a sleeve, just one. You have to have some sort of activity in order to get paid and compensated. But you have the most flexibility, no requirements, no demands. You have a 30-day money back guarantee when you first buy, the products and so forth. And so you have the most flexibility, and you're not paying extra for a member ID number. On the retail side, you're paying an extra $24 for your member ID number, which is like, I don't know about you. I'd rather have it on the product.
What about the person, like the preferred customer is what you guys call it. What about the person that's in between there? Are they locked into the 6 months?
I don't know about anything in between. And I don't ever sign anybody up on people who are preferred customers under my account. They found my link on the internet somehow, and they signed themselves up. I've never signed up anybody as a preferred customer, so I can't really answer. And anyone who asks, I tell them, just go to your website and use the chat box and, use the search feature there. And if that's not clear, then speak to one of the reps, because I can't really answer to that. Dr. Stacy and I and our group, we don't use the preferred customer at all. We are, we like to give people the maximum flexibility.
Thank you. I'm so glad I tuned into this, because I was told that there was benefit in doing that, and I've done that to a few people already.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't answer anything having to do with that, because we just focus on the doctor wholesale side. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You have beautiful hair, by the way.
Thank you. The other company where I was when I was approached is with hair care.
Yeah, you have gorgeous hair. So that's really, really awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The best place, like I'm in a bunch of the Telegram groups. I think I'm in all of them now. The best place to go, like if somebody mentions a disease, which I know we're not supposed to use that name, but if we're trying to specifically find some of these podcasts that I'm watching every night at 7 for Marcy's, I'm under Marcy.
Yes.
Marcy's or whatever. I think Stacy's on that team.
Yes.
Whatever there is, how do I like, where are they all stashed?
Okay,
How-
so I'm gonna go into our Telegram group so that I can actually share that with you guys. So actually let me show that to you real quick, because once people get started on the patches, then of course we add them to the Telegram groups. And that's an incredible resource because that's where you can access all of the previous recordings. You can find out what your existing, what's coming up today, and you can also find out past recordings by condition. And again, we make no medical claims, but people with everything known to man, and then mystery symptoms and conditions and rare conditions that no one's ever heard of are also placed in there. So let me see, where is the Telegram? Here is the Telegram group. Okay. So this is the Telegram group. Okay. I mean, this is my smaller Telegram group. And then we have Team Evolve, where we have about 6,500 people. These are the different Telegram groups. Okay. This is business training. These are stories, which, believe it or not, I really don't use the Evolve stories. I use primarily the Evolve and then the before and after. Before and after, pure and simple, pure pictures. There's not a lot of texting. There's no languaging. This is just the before and after pictures, so that you have a place to go where you could see the before and then after patching the results. So here you got a dog. The owner put patches on it. After 2 months, it went from having cataracts to not having cataracts. Okay. And there's every picture. Here's someone who you could see how they had deeper fine lines and wrinkles. And you could see how this person is literally rejuvenated. They look much younger after wearing the patches. And so this is just pure pictures all the way through. Team Evolve, this is where you're going to put lupus, Lyme, rheumatoid arthritis, TBI, for example. You put in.
Now I've been on my cell phone trying to figure out where. Okay, I see the search thing. I think, well, let me open one of these.
Yeah, so whether it's your phone or if you do the web version on your desk, you simply go to the search here, you enter the condition, broken arm, fracture, or rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, Lyme, long haulers, flu, myasthenia gravis, etc. You just put the condition here, and then all the high blood pressure. Here's, for example, lupus. And here's April Vaughn is Stacy's best friend who got her started on the patches. She's a blood specialist. She's a senior presidential director as well, like Dr. Stacy. And here's her testimonial, because she suffered with Lyme, lupus, frozen shoulder, had COVID in 2021, high C reactive protein, rheumatoid arthritis, and her son and daughter both had a rare blood disorder. I should put in here spirocytosis, because that was the name of the blood disorder. And anyhow, so here's that testimonial. But anyone here, you'll see any comments having to do with lupus is going to show up here. And then you'll see, like, here's another testimonial, lupus, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Here's another one that Marcy did. You could also always go to the Evolve Team YouTube channel that Marcy runs, and you'll see all the recorded videos in the Evolve Team YouTube channel, as well as the Dr. Stacy Hallweger YouTube channel. And then, of course, my channel too, because I do a lot of testimonials as well.
Is it under Dame?
It's yeah. If you put in your URL, just put DameLillianWalker.com, it goes straight to Love and Money Secrets TV, which is my YouTube channel.
Love and Money, I like it.
Yeah, Love and Money.
Both make the world go a little easier.
Yeah, it's both the energy that makes the world go around. Yeah, so that's how you use that search to find conditions. And then that way you can share those testimonials with people who have a similar condition. And then you can find, find everything there, like
Okay, and I know like if we can get them to start with more than a couple patches, that's probably best. But if hands down, if they can only start with 2, is it of your opinion too that X39 and Eon?
Yeah, because everybody has inflammation. So you want to start them on the mother and, mother activation patch, as well as Eon, which is, it's doing more than just regulating and managing the inflammation. It's also balancing the brain. So let me show here. In the presentation, I do have some of that, and it kind of gives, as people start to become more aware and realize and recognize what each one of the patches do, starts to make sense, and you can ascribe a meaning and understand what it is that you're actually doing as you're applying each one of these patches. So I kind of want to just jump down here because some of the things we've discussed inadvertently just through our conversation here. But let's say here, we're going to go. You go to Eon. Not only is it the master anti-inflammatory, of course, it's our anti-stress happy patch. It raises your anti-neoplastins and increases your DHEA fountain of youth hormone. But one of the big things that Eon does that I think oftentimes is overlooked, but I bring a lot of attention to it because it is very critically important. This patch balances your left and your right brain hemisphere. What people don't know is that even though we look at the brain as an entire organism, as an organ, it's actually 2 organs. Your left hemisphere does not trade information with your right hemisphere. Okay? So they're 2 entirely separate organs. They have 2 entirely separate functions. And so sometimes people, like in my case, my brain was out of balance. As soon as I got hit by that bus, my brain was out of balance and I was offline, which is why I had no short-term memory. But as soon as you start to wear the Eon patch, guess what? In addition to bringing down and regulating your inflammation in the body, it's also going to do this brain balancing of your left and your right brain hemisphere, while it reduces your cortisol and your C-reactive proteins that you might have from any stressors, PTSD, anxiety, negative looping thoughts, etc. So as it brings you into balance, you get this calming effect. And because you're wearing the mother stem cell activation patch X39, you have increased mental clarity and focus. You have, faster brain processing speed. All these things start to come into play together just from wearing those 2 patches. So it's very, very powerful. It's the ultimate would be for you to use the Fantastic 5. But for people who can't afford to wear, let's say they're starting off on a silver pack, they got 39, 49, Eon, and carnosine as an example. And maybe the second month they can only afford to do 39 and 49 or 39 and Eon. That's fine. They're keeping it under 200. It's about $179 either way, because it'll be 99 for 39 and then 79 for Eon. So as they continue forward, and as if they have people who are interested and also want to get on the patches as well, then they can use the product introduction bonus that they'll receive from enrolling a person to offset their expenses, so that maybe the second month and third month, then they'll be able to afford to do all 5. And I have plenty of people who do that. Speaking of Carol, we were just talking about her AFib. So her and her sister, her and Annie.
And where are the slides, or where is this information that explains each one? I ran across it one day and I cannot find it again.
So if you go to my YouTube channel and just look at the most recent YouTube, like this one, I didn't broadcast to YouTube. Normally I do, but you look at the most recent one, I go through the bullet points for each one. So let's get started here and let me go ahead and share, because we have been speaking about the Fantastic 5. We're going to be talking about this mother stem cell activation patch, and we'll give the disclaimer here that we alluded to earlier, because these patches aren't intended to treat, prevent, or cure any disease, nor do we heal, cure, treat, or diagnose, nor do we offer any protocols, because basically these things are owned by pharmaceutical companies, which is totally okay. We play by the rules. And the suggestions do not replace the diagnosis and treatment by a qualified licensed healthcare professional. So we strongly recommend you consult with your doctor concerning your specific health challenge and treatment needed. No medical claims are being made with any suggestions that we're making here, okay? So this is the change that we've had in the last 90 days. Just recently, we were made aware of, just in the month of October, that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, also known as the FDA, has taken the position that all claims surrounding stem cells and healing, even those from natural products, will be regarded as drug claims. So the FDA also asserts that claiming that the use of light to elevate peptides such as GHKCU isn't appropriate for a general wellness product. So as a result, even though we were able to call these stem cell activation patches in the past, we are no longer allowed to do that. We now can call them cell activation patches, pluripotent cell activation patches, or phototherapy patches, or photobiomodulation patches, or just patches, right? So even though we have 90 clinical studies that actually show that in all the subjects, that there was significant changes in their blood work and their metabolites and their triglycerides and their cholesterol levels, significant balancing out in the body, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We can't say that these patches activate your stem cells, even though that's actually what they do. So we're going to play nice, follow the rules that the FDA allows us to. And here we go. We're on this broadcast. And when you're online, we have this limitation. When we're in person, it's a whole other story. But the bottom line is these patches, just to give history, independent of the patches, 1973, Dr. Lauren Picard discovered, this was the brainchild genius that discovered that GHKCU copper peptide activated a third of previously dormant stem cells, turning genes to a younger, healthier state. So when you're looking at stem cells, they are, people are asking, what are these stem cells? Stem cells are pluripotent cells. Pluripotent. What's that word pluripotent? Pluri means plural in comparison to singular. That means plural. Potent is potential. So it just means many potentials. So a stem cell is a pluripotent cell. Think of it as a smart cell. It's like a high intelligence smart cell that has 100% of all the programming that you'll ever need from the time you're conceived until you take your last breath. So when your mother's ovum united with your father's sperm, you will have this phenomena that with just the ovum, you don't have complete information. Just with the sperm, not enough information to form a human life. But as soon as that sperm unites with your mother's ovum, you have conception. And now you have complete information to the tune of 23,688 genes and stem cells. And at conception, immediately, this very fast, rapid cellular multiplication and generation begins to form you into an embryo in your mother's womb. Okay. And so if you look at our timeline, let's take a 100-year timeline, you fast forward to 30 years of age. By the time you're 30 years old, 50% of your stem cells turn off, not because your stem cells disappear, are destroyed, are damaged, or disappear. No, they just go dormant, 50% of them. And then now you have declining 50%, 40%, 30%. When you get to 60, you only have 10% of those original stem cells that are there to repair, restore, and regenerate your body. Used to be the job of 100% of your stem cells, but now you only have these 60-year-old stem cells that are doing the same job, but now they have to shoulder 100% of that workload, which is why we age so much more rapidly post 60 years of age. And that's why it takes so much longer to heal a cut, a fracture, any kind of injury. It takes much longer. Any type of illness takes much longer because you only have 10% of those tired old cells that are 60 plus years of age now working for you, until you apply one of these cell activation patches. Because the moment you apply a cell activation patch, now you have 10 plus 33% of your previously dormant cells, pluripotent cells to be specific, turn back on. Now you have 43% lit up inside your body, doing this rapid repair, head to toe, front to back, inside and outside your body. It's not limited to anywhere in your being. And these cells, these pluripotent cells, are smart cells. They're smart enough to know how to do something called triage, which is prioritizing. You know what? She's got a broken fingernail, but she's got something going on in her heart. We're going to give priority, and we're going to put more energy towards repairing and replacing damaged cells in our heart before we replace that toenail. We'll take care of the toenail too, but the order of priority is the heart, the brain, the liver, and then hair, nails, that's going to be last, right? Because that's not critical for your vitality. Your heart, your brain, your liver is critical. You need that to live, right? So your cells are smart. They're smart cells in that regard. And your body is like a house. That's why I use the analogy, the comparison of a contractor. We are basically hiring these contractors. These are like just like you put solar panels on a roof of a house that takes in the sunlight. Well, these are like little solar panels that we put on our skin, and that activates our stem cells because it's using our infrared light that's inside of our body. Let me show you right here. I'll talk to you about what the cells are like, but the inside the body, we have infrared light. When we take our temperature, it's about 98.6, 98.7 degrees on average Fahrenheit. That is measuring the light, the infrared that's in your body. We get that from the electrons, from all the cells and the molecules, and we get electrolytes, which is just another packet of light information, like an electron. It's just in the blood, in the fluids of the body, and that's transported through our bloodstream. And those electrolytes have nutrients, packets of information, and oxygen that go from the heart to the brain to the remainder of the body. If you look at your stem cells, you can equate your pluripotent cells. They're just like printer ink cartridges, really. When you have brand new ink cartridges in your printer, whether they're color or black and white, makes no difference. You go to make a copy, and with 100% of the ink, like 100% of your stem cells, that copy, you can't tell it apart. It's indistinguishable, the copy from the original. You look at them and you can't tell them apart. But fast forward to now, you've used up 70% of the ink, 80% of the ink, 90% of the ink. Now that color copy or black and white copy is a very faded version of the original. And that's just like having only 70%, used up, where you only have 30% left, 20% or 10% left of your stem cells. Now you have faded versions of the original because over time, you have missing information in that replication of those cells. You have faded versions of the original. Your telomere lengths in your DNA, which are the little legs that are at the end of your DNA strand, those also shorten, which is an indicator of shortening of lifespan. So if you look at, we already showed you that. So let's look at the mechanism, because this is a mechanism. This is a mechanical device to redirect your own body's light. This is not putting anything in your body that's not in there already. All this is behaving. It's mimicking a diamond crystal. So look at this diamond crystal and make believe that I'm flashing. I have a flashlight in my hand, and I'm going to turn on that flashlight and I'm going to shine it on this diamond crystal. What's going to happen? Well, the light will bounce off of the crystal and it's reflecting back to our eyes. And that's why we're witnessing all of these different colors of the light spectrum of the prism is reflecting back to our eyes, right? Exact same thing is happening with these crystals on these patches. Excuse me. We have here every single patch that we have 11 different types. In the middle, you'll see that white dot. To the naked eye, it looks like a white dot, but it's actually a bunch of crystals that are arranged in a very specific geometrical pattern, and they're set to a specific frequency. They're mimicking this diamond crystal. And what type of crystals are they? They're organic sugar crystals, organic salt crystals, organic hydrogen, oxygen, water crystals, and organic amino acids that are a proprietary blend of amino acids. And those crystals are all arranged to give a specific result. And in the case of the mother activation patch, it's giving us the result of what the mother pluripotent cell activation patch is doing for us. And what is that? Well, let me tell you what that is. Before I do that, I want to tell you a little bit about phototherapy, because this is photobiomodulation. People ask, photobiomodulation, geez, what a gigantic word. Never heard of that before. What is that? Photo means light. Bio, we are biological beings. Photobiomodulation simply means movement and change. So in short, to paraphrase it, it's wearable light technology. So while phototherapy has in fact been defined as the use of ultraviolet light for its healing effects, the LifeWave patches have been specifically developed to reflect light in the infrared and visible light bands back onto the skin where the patch has been placed. So supported by normal electrodermal skin conductance, the human body gives off a number of materials biochemically, including particulate release, gas emission, ultraviolet, infrared, near infrared, and visible spectrum light. So it's light that we can see and can't see. This then stimulates the area of the skin, producing improved physiological effects. Variations on phototherapy have been used for at least 100 years. In that time, there's been little evidence of any negative side effects. So this suggests that this is a relatively untapped option for healing with relatively few risks. So I want people to notice that these are non-transdermal patches. That means, what does non-transdermal mean? Nothing transfers into the dermis. Dermis is skin. So when you wear these patches, nothing is being absorbed by the skin. Nothing is being transferred into the skin. In comparison to a transdermal patch, like a nicotine patch, a testosterone patch, some men wear testosterone patches to increase their testosterone. Testosterone is being absorbed through that patch into the skin, and it goes into the bloodstream directly, right? That's not what's happening here. These are just a mechanical device to redirect your infrared light up to 4 inches deep back into the body, and immediately it activates your pluripotent cells, your smart cells from conception, to turn back on because they've been dormant. Turn them back on. Instantly, this rapid repair starts to take place, and this regeneration of damaged cells get replaced by brand new cells. Because of this phenomena, it's non-invasive. Excuse me, I need a little bit of water. Or these are organic, holistic, FDA compliant, class 1 medical devices, okay? This is not a medicine. This is a medical device. Again, this is a mechanical structure that's redirecting your infrared light to do all the job. Your body is the battery that operates this device, and your body is the one that it's repairing everything itself, because it already has the programming to do that. It's done under the general wellness category. We manufacture our products at FDA-registered facilities in the US, and our facility in Ireland is registered with the Irish Medicine Board. We manufacture our products to the same standards as a medical device because it is a mechanical device. In fact, our facility in Ireland is ISO 9001 and ISO 13485. So that's a quality standard, and that's a direct quote from David Schmidt, our scientist. Super important to drink 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water. I think I'm going to turn into the water queen because I'm always touting about how important it is to drink your weight in fluid ounces of water. People don't think this is a big deal, and I'm like, this is a huge deal. I mean, you don't have to do anything you don't want. You don't have to be healthy if you don't want. No one's obligating. I don't care what you do. I'm not your mother, and I have 3 kids, and I'm not even telling them what to do anymore because all 3 of them are over 20 years of age. So everybody is free to do whatever they want. However, if you want to feel as great as you possibly can, if you want to optimize your health, if you want to live the most fantastic and glorious life, well, one of the building blocks of your body and of your life is water. And people don't realize that when you get dehydrated, all sorts of things in your body shrink. Yes, the first thing that shrinks is your brain. I don't know about you, but I can't afford to lose any brain cells. I can't afford not to have my brain at an optimum. I want everything in my favor when it comes to my brain, and having my brain dehydrated is not a good option that I want to embrace. I want to make sure that my brain is fully hydrated because our brains are hydrophilic. Hydrophilic means they're water lovers. Our brain is mostly fat and water. And so our brain is very hydrophilic. The moment you're 2% dehydrated, you're going to feel it in your mouth. That's an indicator to you that also your brain is dehydrated. A lot of people, as soon as they get dehydrated, they get headaches. Some people suffer chronic headaches because they're chronically dehydrated. And a headache is an indicator of not just your brain being dehydrated, but it could be also an indicator that there's something else wrong in your body that your body is trying to balance. But if you hydrate yourself and at least get your brain hydrated again, then a few things are happening because people are not aware that when you are unhydrated or dehydrated, your proteins fold. Yeah, I know, probably not. Maybe it's possible that I'm the first person who's ever told you, oh, by the way, when you're dehydrated, your proteins in your body fold. Proteins are the #1 building block protein of the body, especially in collagen. And if your proteins are folded, they're not working properly. So that is going to cause symptoms in the body. It's going to cause the decay and the deterioration of certain organs and eventually different organ systems in the body if it's neglected long enough. That's why I think water is a very big deal. Other thing to note is that at 8% dehydration, check this out. I'm going to show you an image. At 8% dehydration, what happens to your DNA? Because your DNA, my friends and gems, is 92% water. Yep, I bet you nobody ever told you that. But the truth is, your DNA is 92% water. So think about that. Your brain is it's hydrophilic. You have to have a properly hydrated body and brain. Your DNA, the 23,688 DNA that you were conceived with in your mother's womb, is 92% water. That means that the primary structure that holds up your DNA is in fact water. When we're born, we're about 82% water because we come out of our mother's juicy little womb where we were swimming in that amniotic sac. And we're born kind of juicy at 82% water. By the time we're 60, we're about 55% water. Americans, we used to be 65% water when we were at the age of 60, but because of environmental circumstances, diet, lack of exercise, and things like that, it's dropped down to as low as 55%. Kind of eerie if you think about it. But what happens at 8% dehydration? I shudder to think. At 8% dehydration, my friends and gems, you have a picture here. This is what a properly hydrated DNA strand looks like. This DNA is unraveling because it's 8% dehydrated. I bet you dollars to donuts that this person has a lot of systemic issues going on in their body. If they're 8% dehydrated, not a good place for you to be. Furthermore, your proteins fold. Let me get water, please. Okay. Been talking so much today. Got to get my water. Okay. So when you're, like I said, 8% dehydrated, when you're dehydrated, even at 2%, your proteins fold. So I want you to think about if you were now told that for the remainder of the day, heck, for the remainder of the week, that you were to walk with your head down at your knees, you're folded in half. How well would you be able to feed yourself, take a shower, go to the bathroom, drive your car, work, do everything that you have to do? The reality is you wouldn't be able to do all the things that you normally do if you're literally folded in half. Same thing is true with your proteins. When your proteins are folded in half, they stop working. That is going to cause, that's the beginning of disease in the body, okay? So it's super important to drink your 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water. 10% dehydration, you lose your mind. And at 12%, you die. Your body just shuts down. It's all systems gone. You leave the body, you are no more. Very important to drink fluid weight in ounces of water. How come this is not going to the next one? There we go. We already talked about Dr. John Harmon, so we're going to skip over this time. Thing to note is that your fibroblasts begin to decline when you're just barely 25 years of age in their production of collagen. Collagen, in fact, is the #1 building block protein of the body. And the mother activation patch actually does, in fact, turn on collagen production, which is why you have so many people looking so much younger after wearing the patches for a significant period of time. This is Barry, who had long haulers, COVID, had horrible insomnia, woke up every single day for 18 months with headaches, nausea, low stamina, and horrible fatigue. Just felt awful. We got him started on the patches on the 23rd of June of last year, 2022. And he received his patches in Toronto, Canada, around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And so instead of having him wait to put them on the next morning, I wanted him to get a good night's sleep. I wanted my friend to feel relief. So I said, Barry, let's just put them on now, wear them for 12 hours. And tomorrow, when you remove them, give me a call. Let me know how you're doing tomorrow. So he sent me this text message the very next day. And he's like, hey, Lillian, just a note. Don't know if it's a placebo. I thought that was so cute when I saw the word placebo on there. or the stem cell activation patches work that quick or what, but I had really good sleep. A little better sleep than other nights, fell asleep quicker. Today, I am just on a high. I'm ecstatic, and Gwen sees that in me, and I feel really, really good physically. When I awoke this morning, no headache, no nausea. Yeah, it's just been a phenomenal day. So thank you, and I'll update you as we go along. Hope all is well. Thanks. Bye. I helped my friend experience relief from that which plagued him, those conditions for 18 months, finally had relief. Since then, I have patched so many people who tested positive for the big COVID, people who didn't test, who had these symptoms, body aches, chills, fevers, headaches, and so forth, who we patched them, and within 24 hours, they were in relief. They were no longer plagued with that terrible symptoms that they had, which encouraged them to try the patches to begin with. So it really is quite phenomenal. This is Kathy McCarthy. She suffered for 33 years from an autoimmune disorder from breast implants. She had 3 breast implants that caused this autoimmune disorder. And she was a mess and in terrible pain. She got on the patches, not as much for the reverse and anti-aging aspect of the patches, although we all welcome that, And so we told her, take pictures before you start the patches and every 30 days after. She was great. She did that, and last October, not October 2023, but October of 2022, she posted this picture, and she showed the first 7 months of her wearing the patches. And of course, everyone was so shocked and impressed at her results that they could see on the outside. The bigger story really is that she was relieved of all of her autoimmune disorder symptoms. And so she got both that and a radical upgrade in terms of how the reverse aging took place for her, because in January, she had a fair amount of lines and wrinkles and deep grooves on her chest. And you can see her clearly that by June, she had no wrinkles anymore. She just had a hint of the lines. And by July, 7 months after wearing these patches, no fine lines, wrinkles. And we don't have a picture of her in January because she refused to take her picture. Even when I asked her to come on and give me her testimonial, and I interviewed her on my YouTube channel, when we first did that interview, she didn't want to give me that, her profile picture. But by the time we were done with that interview and she saw it, she's like, okay, she went ahead, took the picture. And that's why I have this now. You can clearly see she does not look like a 63-year-old. She was 62 when she started. She looks like she's 35, 40 years old, but she is in fact 63. And she feels phenomenal. She jumps out of planes. She's a professional diver. She's won all sorts of other awards now since all of this going on. She's really, really quite incredible, an incredible human being. She's also recently became an executive director in this company. This is my story, and I was hit by a bus almost 6 years ago, actually a little over 6 years ago now. And I suffered a traumatic brain injury, neck injury, horrible neck pain, C5, C6 damage, L1, L5 damage. And also I had a laceration that went from my ankle to my knee. Took about a year for that to close. And for the first, I suffered all these this laundry list, everything from tinnitus to something called nystagmus, which is when you go to focus. Like I had a real hard time seeing after the accident, and I had multiple prescriptions of glasses, none of them which worked. Even when I wore contacts and glasses, still couldn't see because my vision was changing so much, and just vacillating quite a bit. And I had this thing also called nystagmus. When I would go to focus on something, my eyes would rattle back and forth really quickly for like 1, maybe 2 seconds, and then it would stop. So while it's shaking, everything is moving, and you're trying to look at something, but you can't because you've got this rattling thing going on. And it's one of the symptoms of a TBI. Not to mention, I had 0 short-term memory. And I didn't know that for the first 2 years after my accident. My long-term memory was intact, but my short-term memory wasn't compromised. It was non-existent. I had none because I was hit in the hypothalamus in the back of my head. So when the bus hit me, it hit me in the back of the head and in the butt, and I went flying. So it took a long time to recover from that. I used a lot of my neurosomatic practices to take care of myself, but really the thing that gave me an exponential leap in resolving all of these things was when I got on the patches in June 22nd of 2022. And in the first month, my memory, my focus, my brain processing speed went through the roof. I was shocked, to be honest with you. I was like, holy cow. I was making my way because I knew prior to being on the patches, in order for me to remember, to memorize, to learn something, I would have to not only have the digital form and highlight that, but I would also have to have the paper format of the book or the research paper, highlight it, take notes, write 3x5 cards, do an outline, and then speak it out loud so that I'm seeing it, hearing it, feeling it. And then, it would eventually get stored into my memory. And I was making my way. I knew that I had to learn what each one of the 11 patches did, and I had to learn what recommendations there were for different systems of the body for acupuncture points. I was already familiar with acupuncture points, so I just needed to learn the patch placement with the acupuncture points. And so I'm reading through the 90 papers because I knew that I had to read all 90. And I came along one paper for Ice Wave, and I was so impressed with the keywords, which were organic nanotechnology, photobiomodulation, and acupuncture points. And I thought, wow, that collection of keywords, we need to be languaging and sharing that with people because we weren't doing that at the time. And then as I read the paper, the abstract was very well written and the language was more user-friendly for the public. And so it basically said that the LifeWave Ice Wave patch uses organic nanotechnology using photobiomodulation applied on traditional Chinese medicine acupuncture points to magnify the effects on the body. And it had a significant improvement in pain reduction in all 50, research subjects that were part of the study. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is incredible. I need to share this with people, but I got to commit this to memory. So I literally took the paper, I set it to my left, and the next very Zoom call, I figured later on I would do that process. Well, when the next Zoom call that I was on, I remembered everything. It took no effort for me to remember, to learn, or to recall that. Next thing I knew, I was spitting it out just like I did here a minute ago. And I realized, oh my gosh, my memory is as good. My first thought was it's as good as it was when I was pre-med at USC. And then in a split second, I realized it's better than it's ever been my entire academic life, because then I remembered that November of my kindergarten year, I had eye surgery on both eyes. When you have surgery and you undergo general anesthetics, there's 4 things that are done to you. An anesthesiologist wipes out your memory. They give you amnesia, hypnosis, analgesia. They turn off your pain receptors. And the 4th thing they do is they paralyze you. In applying general anesthetics, they have to lower your vitals, lower your heart rate, lower your pulse, lower your respiratory rate. As they lower your respiratory rate and your vitals, you deprive the brain of oxygen. As you deprive the brain of oxygen, applying those 4 things, you get some brain damage. The wiping out of the memory is done on purpose to increase the odds that you're going to recover as quickly as possible, because the body keeps score. Your brain files the memory of that surgery in the left side of the brain, and the body energetically, because it's being cut into, that's traumatic, it stores that energy and that tension in the body. So in order for you to not have what we call an abreaction, they wipe out your memory so that you don't have any recollection of the surgery, to increase the odds that you're going to recuperate quicker. And so I realized, oh my gosh, I thought my first traumatic brain injury, the only one that I had was when I got hit by a bus, but that was my second, because my first was November of my kindergarten year when I had eye surgery. And I realized my entire academic career, I didn't have the benefit of having intact memory because of that first TBI that was never addressed until now. And that's why I could read something once and I didn't have to memorize it. I just saw it, exposed it, had the intention of remembering it, and that was good enough where effortlessly I could bring up that memory. So that was pretty exciting. And it's only gotten better where my processing speed, my memory, my focus is even better. Okay.
Exciting.
So let's take a look at the time here because time does fly. All righty, so we're going to wrap this up very shortly here. We're going to quickly go over the bullet points. I'm going to go over the daughter stem cell activation patch. If you want to see the bullet points of the balance of the glutathione, carnosine, and eon, you can look at the last broadcast that we just did yesterday, and you'll see that there, okay? So this one resets a third of your genes to a younger, healthier state. It's going to regenerate cells by replacing damaged cells. It's going to restore your collagen, rebuild scar tissue. Rebuild scar tissue by replacing it with the original tissue. Really fantastic. Reduces fine lines and wrinkles, increases energy, increases your sexual libido, because when you have 33% additional stem cells that are activated, a 35-year-old has a sexual libido, so will you. So increased energy, increased sexual libido, increased antioxidants, anti-aging, anti-inflammatories. If you have pain, you'll experience within 3 to 4 minutes a 50 to 100% reduction in pain. Improved hair growth, improved deeper sounder sleep. Almost every single person I've ever patched, first 24 hours, they slept so much better. And so that is also evidenced in the research studies. Okay, we basically have a recommendation or a regimen, or what I like to call a Veritas Concilium. It's just a true plan of action using traditional Chinese medicine acupuncture points that's going to magnify the effects of the patches on the body. Easiest rule of thumb for anyone, because you inevitably have meridian and acupuncture points all over the body. It's impossible to learn them all. But if you just point to the pain, where you feel the pain and you surround that area with the patch, that's a good, generally speaking, you can take all 5 patches, or if you have X39 and Eon, put those 2 in the spot where you have pain. Could be a knee, could be an elbow, could be a wrist, like in my case, up until today. Today's the first day that I'm not wearing it on here, but I've been putting my Fantastic 5 all the way down my wrist because I had an injury here, and the pain was so sharp going up to my palm that I couldn't use my hand until I put the patches on. And then in the first 30 minutes tops, it was probably 3. I don't really pay attention. I just noticed that right away the pain went away. And so that's always a good recommendation. Okay. The next patch is the daughter 49 patch, and that protects you against radiation poisoning relief. So as you watch this broadcast, you're either using your desktop, your laptop, your cell phone, your iPad, your notebook, whatever kind of device you're using to watch this, we get blue light toxicity from that, and we get radiation poisoning from all sorts of electromagnetic frequencies that are in our home environment. And so this patch is going to protect you from that. Studies show an actual Faraday cage is actually reestablished when you wear this particular patch. This increases lean muscle mass. Your bone density is increased, muscle mass and strength increased, your energy goes up, your focus, your cardiovascular function goes up. This protects you against electromagnetic frequencies from 5G, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi radiation, TSA scanners at the airport, PET scans, MRIs, X-rays, you name it, any kind of scan that's done on you. Also, it'll reduce belly fat because this patch is designed to use your belly fat as an immediate source of energy rather than glucose from whatever most recent meal that you had. This will also reduce osteoporosis if you have osteoporosis, because of course it's increasing your bone density. So I'm just going to I've got a little bit of a cough today. I'm just going to flash real quickly in case someone wants to just take a snapshot or have that as a reference point. I'll just show you these bullet points for glutathione. We don't have time to go over the glutathione, the carnosine, or the eon. Again, you can get back to the person who referred you to this video or watch our most recent broadcast where I go over all of the patches. I want to jump down to how much this costs, because obviously we can't charge you $1 million, although your health is worth more than $1 million. And we know that traditional stem cell therapies in the United States right now are not legal. You have to leave the country for that. They run anywhere from 8 to 11, although I've known people who've paid $25,000 for a session out of the country for those therapies. This you can get started for the cost of a cup of coffee a day. To do the Fantastic 5, you can do it for the cost of 2 cups of coffee a day for $11 a day. This is our doctor wholesale pack, which is what we need to complete in order to enter it into our back office. Whoever referred you to this video can complete one of those and then get you a doctor wholesale pack instead of you having to get the retail price. If you found the link on the web, you just want to order retail, knock yourself out, go about that. But on the doctor wholesale side, you don't have to commit to a 6-month auto ship. You still do get a 30-day money back guarantee, which again, if you're just going to try it for 30 days, if your mindset is like, I'm going to see if it's going to work for me. Well, like I said before, this works on, no one is so special that your stem cells don't work. Just not possible. Every human being, every mammal, whether it's a cat, a dog, a horse, a cow, a human, all mammals, a monkey, all of us at conception, the reason why we're here is because the ovum, the sperm united, and we have a complete set of stem cells and genes to form us into a body, which is where we are right now. So no one is so special that you can't activate your pluripotent cells through these patches. So you got to give it time though. Like I said, someone decides today they're going to be a bodybuilder. It's not going to happen in 30 days. I don't care what you do. It's going to take a good year and a half for you to get your body into that place. You got to allow your body time to replace and to regenerate those cells. There's 56 trillion cells in your body and about 2 billion turnover every day. So to learn more, to read our clinical studies, to watch the 2-minute video about the patches, go to startx39now.com. If you want to get started, you can get back to the person who referred you to this video, or you can text us here at the hotline number. And when you leave a message, you're interested in getting started, please send the "to get started" text. We'll text you the "to get started" text, which is just the questions required to answer, to fill out this form so we can enter it in the back office. Okay. You can visit damelillianwalker.com to watch a replay of this video. I'll upload this afterwards, and to watch the video testimonials that we've done. Some of the ones that I referred to, every video, every testimonial that I shared with here, there's a full video that has their entire story where I actually interviewed them and they shared what happened before, during, and after. So I invite you to do that. Last little opportunity to get a screenshot here of the mother activation patch if you'd like that. And I want to thank you for watching this broadcast. And I think we've answered. Does anybody else have any other questions? I want to make sure we answer whatever questions you might have. Denise and Robinson's and Carol and Edgar, Christy, anybody else have any other questions?
Can you answer one quick one?
Mm-hmm.
If somebody is on some medications, how quickly should they go back to their doctor to check those levels after starting the patches?
So that's a phenomenal question. I recommend anybody who gets started on the patches who is currently on prescription medication, I really encourage you to go back 2 weeks after you started on the patches, no more than 30 days. If you're on blood pressure medication, if you're on statins, if you're on any kind of medication, blood thinners, again, there's no shortage of meds that people can possibly be on. After 30 days, there's a significant amount of change going on in your body. You want to go within the first 30 days, have your insulin adjusted if you're taking insulin. Again, whatever meds you're taking. And I would definitely go back first 30 days after you start on the patches, and then maybe another 60 days. If you can go every 30 days, the first 90 days, I would.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Because you want to make sure that you're not taking too much blood pressure medication. Whatever medication that you're taking, you don't want to take more than it's required. If your body's already starting to adjust itself, you don't want to unnaturally push it down below where it should be, or push it up above where it should be either. So just get, everything is chemistry inside of your body. So probably every 30 days, the first 90 days, I would say, have those things checked, and then follow your intuition. If it hasn't been 30 days and you're feeling, I really think I should go to the doctor, don't wait 30 days. Call that day, make an appointment to get in ASAP.
That's what I do.
Honor your body.
Yeah, I do.
Your body's speaking to you. You might have to, you, even as you're taking the meds, you might be looking at something like, I think I need to back off of this. So go to your doctor and tell him, and then he'll check you and he'll go, oh yeah, we can.
That's what I did. I researched every med, and I'm not a med taker, and I wasn't sick before, but then I had a situation and ended up with a cardiologist. But I educated myself with everything. I said, okay, prescribe whatever. We'll talk about it. He prescribed all the things that possibly needed. And I learned about it. I looked it up, I checked it out, and then I went back in a couple of weeks and I said, this and this and this and this I don't want. And he agreed. So we worked with my meds that he was prescribing with the situation in my heart. And over at the end result of that was then I got on the patches, and the patches within 10 minutes, my AFib was done. It was gone. It stopped. So I got kind of excited about that, but continued on and went back to the doctor, the cardiologist, and we'd had a rapport by then. He said, you know more than any of my patients. And I said, I intend to. And so then I told him about the patches and that I really liked what was happening. And he posted that in my chart, that everything that I did, he posted that. But he said it was me that took charge of me. And that's what made the difference. And he listened to me because he had somebody to talk with that made sense. He didn't just have to prescribe.
Yeah,
So
you partnered with your doctor.
I did.
And that's what's needed. That partnership is so important.
Yeah. So but the patches made a 10-minute difference just like that. I don't take any meds now.
Yeah. And you didn't have, in November, you were supposed to have that atrial fibrillator installed in your chest, and you didn't have your GP and your cardiologist verified. You don't need that anymore.
Yeah. And I'll go again. They're going to check again in January, and that's good. We'll just keep checking.
Keep checking, confirming, making
I'm
sure.
going to keep telling them.
Yeah, but you have a relationship and a partnership, you and your doctor on the same page, that they're wanting to help you improve your health. And that's so important. And so you get confirmation from your doctor, and your doctor gets confirmation from you too. So
yeah, and what I did was when I said I knew that I had to get his brilliant attention, I said stem cell first. That woke him up right away, because who knows about stem cells? Not their patients. So I said stem cell activation. And then we went from there. But always go with the word that describes something that gets their attention right away. So,
yeah, pretty. Yeah, you and your sister, everyone that you've introduced has had some pretty impressive results. So yeah. Does anybody else have any other questions that we can answer? And otherwise, we're going to wrap this up.
Yes, Lillian, this is Darcel. How are you?
Hi, Darcel. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I have a question. If you could go back, I had to step away from my mama real quick. And when you were showing the placement for the placement on the back of the neck for the Fantasy 5,
Okay.
I didn't get, I saw the 39, the 49, but I didn't see how you the order that you place the YH.
Okay. So this is the patch placement.
Yeah.
The research, all 90 research studies use 2 acupuncture points. This one where you see the red arrow where the 39 is, that's governing vessel 14. That's if you touch the back of your neck and you go all the way down till you feel a neck bump. That neck bump is where it's the beginning of your spine, and it's where your brain stem actually goes down into your spinal column, and then it signals your autonomic nervous system. So that's like your information highway, and it sends out signals throughout the entire body. It's a governing vessel, which is a major vessel of the body. So that's why that's one of the recommended general locations to put. You can never go wrong putting it there. And so we connect the patches with each other so that they are, the integrity of the white circle is still maintained.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
you're overlapping the adhesive, but you don't overlap. You don't overlap
Oh,
the white circle. So you see how these are not touching? Here I have
yes.
a gap between these two, but these are not touching because you want that entirety of that signaling for that particular patch to be placed on the skin. You don't want to have the previous patch overlapping where it's going to interrupt that signal. So now you will just have that. You would just simply have that in a row. We call those kissing patches. And so these are actually separated, but basically you're going to connect them on your bathroom counter, kitchen counter, whatever counter or desk, connect them. And then you just simply touch the top one and then just press down and then they're applied. The second acupuncture point that you'll see in a lot of the pamphlets that come with the patches is conception vessel 6, which is 3 finger widths below the belly button. That acupuncture point has to do with conception. So reproductive organs, digestive organs. So anything related to conception, hormones, digestion, that's that acupuncture point. So if you're having stomach issues, spleen issues, liver issues, uterus, ovaries or testes or any of issues along those lines, you might want to, instead of putting it on, you cannot go wrong with a brainstem, the governing vessel 14, but you might want to put it down there below your belly button because you want to signal that area first with the Fantastic 5.
What about the pancreas?
Pancreas, I would also put it there. If you have,
Okay.
let's say if you have any type of condition of the pancreas that whether it involves pain or not, you could put it down there, or you could put it like right under your rib cage, under where your pancreas are as well. Yeah. So the rule of thumb is for pain, wherever you have the worst pain of the body, take those 5 patches and you're going to surround that area. If it's a limb, you could like encircle that area with the patches, or you could put them in a circle where the patches are basically surrounding that pain area so that that area is circled. That could be lower your back. It could be the front of your hip, the side of your hip, the back of your hip. Yeah, it all works really well. Okay.
Okay. So in addition to you spoke about pain. I have a doctor friend who is in pain. She's been on patches now for 2 months, and there has been no relief whatsoever. She's been using.
What has she been using?
She's been using the not the Fantasy 5, but the 39 Eon and the Ice Wave.
Okay. So I don't know what the root cause of her pain is, but she might have to put glutathione on there because glutathione is the master antioxidant that detoxifies your body and boosts your immune system. It's also tied to something we call the nociceptive system, which is responsible for your ability to feel pain. So sometimes when you put the glutathione patch on that spot of pain along with 39 and Eon, automatically it knocks out the pain, especially if it's also wearing Ice Wave. Just add the glutathione patch to that pain point, and I would be surprised if it doesn't take it down. Oftentimes it just knocks it right out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lillian. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. Yeah, let me know how it goes. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so if we have no other questions, I'm going to let my friends and Jims here, I'm going to let you go so you can continue on with your day. Thank you for your time and your attention. If you go to the YouTube channel, make sure you like the video and that you hit the notification bell so that you're notified as soon as new videos are uploaded. That hitting the like button really helps others, for YouTube to send this out so that other people who are looking for this type of content that are able to find it because it helps the algorithm. And that's it. Ciao for now. Merry Christmas. We've got countdown coming along here. Not too many days left before Christmas. So thank you
so very much.
Thank you. Great call. Thank you so much.
We'll be back on tomorrow at 2 p.m. I'm not doing 7 p.m. because I'm going to a Christmas party tonight. So won't have the 7 p.m. tonight, but we'll have 2 p.m. tomorrow.
Q&A again?
2 p.m. Only 2 p.m. tomorrow. And not at 7 because I have a party tonight and I have another party tomorrow night. So Pacific time. All right. It'll be posted in the Evolve Team group as well as the Dame Lillian Walker Stem Cell group on Telegram.
Okay.
All right. Ciao for now, Gems. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was a great call.